What's up, gang? CJ Curry here. Happy Flex Friday to all my PrizePicks players out there. Guys, if you're new to the channel and haven't subscribed yet, hit the subscribe button now. We are adding subs each and every day as I'm giving away free picks. Some hit, some don't. And yesterday and the day before, most of them haven't hit. So we're on a little bit of a slump. Hopefully today is the day where we perk back up. Slap a like button while you're down there, hitting the subscribe button, and turn on notifications and ring that bell so you don't miss out on any videos when they drop here on the channel. Now, today is Flex Friday over on PrizePicks, so if you're not already a PrizePicks player, you want to get signed up on PrizePicks because the first $5 you play, they're going to give you $50 whether you win or lose on that first $5. And on top of that, they run cool promotions like this promotion, which is their Flex Friday protected play. Now, my protected play is only worth $5. That's the most they'll allow me to put on it. You guys let me know in the comments section below, how much is your protected play? Everybody's protected play is a little bit different. So that's why I asked that question. I'm just trying to gauge, I'm just trying to see how much your protected play is worth. All right, on today's video, I got 3 full game NBA props and 3 first half only NBA props. So without further ado, let's go ahead and slide into it. Starting with this first guy, Nikola Vucevic of the Chicago Bulls. He's sitting out there at 31.5 points plus rebounds. At 31.5, this number looks a little bit too high. Already seeing sports books move him down one whole PR from 31.5 down to 30.5 PR. So don't be surprised if PrizePicks follows the sports books and lowers this guy down to 31 PR or even 30.5 PR. Taking a look here over on the Daily Grind Fantasy Optimizer. What this tool does a great job of is saving you time by going out and analyzing all the different sports books that are out there. It looks at which way the money's coming in, on the over or on the under. It then takes out the vig or juice that the sports books are charging sports bettors for placing bets on their sports books and gives you true or fair odds. In this case, about a 53% chance that Vucevic stays under 31.5 points plus rebounds. So you got to think of this as like a weighted coin, right? If you were to flip this coin 100 times, 53 times out of 100, it's going to land on the under at 31.5, but 47 times, it's going to land on the over. And so we got to keep that in mind that these edges, albeit small, do add up over the long haul. And that's really what you should be having, is a macro mentality, not a micro mentality. So I know the last 2 days have been rough, but we've got a long way to go. 30 plus weeks of NBA action. So don't get discouraged because you've had a couple of bad days. Those happen. Cold streaks don't last forever, nor do hot streaks. And we started out really hot. Now we're experiencing more of a cold streak. So just stay even keel, all right? Never too high, never too low. Anyway, Vucevic looking like a good option here at under 31.5 PR, because according to these projection models, well, they expect him to go under as well. 29.92 is the projection over on RotoWire. If you want to try RotoWire out, they've got a 2-day all-access free pass. Go down to the description of today's video. That's where you're going to find links to all the tools, everything you see up on the screen. So this first projection is a lean under or lean less on Nikola Vucevic. Going over to a different projection system or model. This one is called Fantasy Labs, and this one has Nikola Vucevic projected for 28.3 points plus rebounds, putting him under 31.5 by more than 3 PR, which is a sizable difference in my estimation. Going back over here and checking out Betting Pros, once again, I try to get you as many different looks or views as possible. Different, projection models will yield different results. And in this case, we've got a projection of about 29.3 PR for Nikola Vucevic going up against the Brooklyn Nets today. So that is a lean under option. Let's go over to the next one here. Let's see if this one's still available. Jakob Poeltl of the Toronto Raptors. And I'm looking at his rebounds and assists for more than 12.5. This one is still available. Surprisingly, he's going up against the Los Angeles Lakers tonight at 12.5 rebounds and assists. Let's go take a look at where he's at on the Daily Grind Fantasy Optimizer. So we're going to start with some sportsbook data. This one right here, almost a 53% chance to clear the over as well. 52.7% chance, let's call it. He's at 12.5 on most sports books, but even a site like FanDuel has him at 13.5. So you might see this one end up more of around a 13 rebound and assist bump rather than a 13.5 bump. But I, again, wouldn't expect this one, I wouldn't be surprised rather if this one did end up getting a half-point bump before it's all said and done here. Going over to the RotoWire projections for Jakob Poeltl, you can see that the top way to play the big man for the Toronto Raptors is for the over. Huge projection here for him when we open up his player card. You can see he's projected for 16.39 rebounds plus assists. A lot of injuries on this Toronto Raptors squad, so Poeltl will be able to get his hands on more basketballs, and he's done exactly that over the last few games. 18 rebounds and assists versus Charlotte, 21 versus Denver and Nikola Vucevic, 13 versus Rudy Gobert and the Minnesota Timberwolves. Then he had just 12 against Philly, Andre Drummond, and then 11 against the Mobley Allen connection. So pretty good numbers here. He's been all the way up there around, 11 to 21 rebounds and assists for a majority of the games that he's played in this season. So you kind of get an idea of where his floor is at and where his ceiling is at. Taking a look at another projection for Jakob Poeltl. Going back over to Fantasy Labs, they've got him all the way up at 13.8, putting him over 12.5 by 1.3. Pretty sizable differential there. He's going to be facing Anthony Davis and the Los Angeles Lakers tonight. Let's see if we can get you one more projection over on Betting Pros. Let me refresh here because I looked earlier and there wasn't a projection up yet for him. And there still isn't. But hey, we'll take those two projections, RotoWire and Fantasy Labs. They both have him going over. Which brings us to the next guy, Wendell Carter Jr. Let's see if this one's still available on the board. It is 10.5 rebounds and assists going up against Cleveland. In case you haven't heard, Paolo Banchero is going to be out for a while. He has a adductor tear, I think they said, or oblique tear or something. I don't know. Something's torn. Banchero is going to be out for at least a month minimum for the Orlando Magic, which means Wendell Carter Jr. might be able to get his hands on some more basketballs. Probably going to see Jonathan Isaac step into the starting lineup at the power forward position for Orlando, but that kind of remains to be seen. So we can only go off of what we know here. And what we know is that Wendell Carter Jr. has done a pretty solid job this season of clearing 10.5 rebounds and assists. So let's go take a look at where he's at on the Daily Grind Fantasy Optimizer, starting with a little bit of sports book data. Top way to play Wendell as of right now, about 10:45 Eastern time here in the morning, is going to be the over on his rebounds and assists. 53% chance that he clears this over. You're seeing a lot of juice action coming in on the over on sportsbooks like DraftKings, BetMGM, Caesars. And so why would we want to go against the way that the money is coming in? You probably wouldn't want to do that if you're playing on PrizePicks. Now, if you're getting plus odds over on a sports book or something like that, and you think Wendell's going to stay under 10.5, well, then that might be the way to go. Go get you some plus money odds on a sports book, but don't take the under on Wendell Carter Jr. on a site like PrizePicks because that is a losing strategy. You don't want to do that. Taking a look at some projections here for Wendell. First projection, again, kind of like Poeltl. Huge projection for the over on Wendell Carter Jr. As far as the lean more options go, this is the top way to play Wendell. He's projected for nearly 13 rebounds and assists at 12.98. You kind of look at some of the games that he's had this season: 16 rebounds and assists versus Miami, 15 versus Brooklyn, 12 versus Memphis, 11 versus Indiana, and 9 versus Chicago. It's been kind of weird. It's been like a downward slope, but maybe things curve back up like a hockey stick now that Paolo Banchero's out and given this matchup against the Cleveland Cavaliers. So let's go take a look at another projection for Wendell. We're going to go back over here to Fantasy Labs, where they've got him projected for 11.5. So a little bit more of a conservative projection than RotoWire, but still a 1 rebound and assist differential. So a pretty big differential for Wendell Carter in this case. Let's see if we get a third projection for you. Wendell out here over on Betting Pros. They've got him at 10.2, so not a terrible projection. The line's 10.5, kind of a coin flip. I guess if you wanted to just leave this one alone, you could, but I think I would still lean toward the over given the fact that Paolo Banchero is not going to be in there, and that should open up more rebound opportunities for a guy like Wendell Carter Jr., especially if they take a guy like Jonathan Isaac and, put him out of the paint. Maybe he's guarding Evan Mobley out on the perimeter. We'll see how it goes. Anyway, let's go to some first half only options. Starting with this first guy, PrizePicks kind of unique. They allow you to play first half only. Scoot Henderson of the Portland Trailblazers at 11.5 first half points, rebounds, and assists. This is first half only, so you can only get this on sites like PrizePicks, maybe even Underdog, but Scoot has done a really good job at clearing 11.5 first half PRA. If we take a look this season of what he's done here, going to 2024 on Outlier. Check out Outlier, by the way. You get a 7-day free pass on Outlier if you use the link down in the description of today's video. He's cleared this in 4 out of 5 games. The only game that he didn't clear was against Portland, and in that one, he makes one more bucket, and he would have cleared. He actually had 0 rebounds in that game, which is kind of unlike him. Normally, he's good for a couple of boards, but that would have definitely put him over nonetheless. But outside of that, he's averaging a healthy 12.6 rebounds, points, and assists for the first half this season. You can see some of the games that he went over. 14 against Golden State, had 8 points, 4 boards, 2 assists. He had 12 points, rebounds, and assists in the first half versus New Orleans Pelicans with 7 points, 3 rebounds, 2 assists. Against the Sacramento Kings, 8 points, 4 rebounds, 2 assists. And against the Los Angeles Clippers, 9 points, 1 rebound, 3 assists. So he fills it up. He does a little bit of everything. He's good at stuffing the stat sheet. The only concern I have with this is the fact that over the last 2 games in the first half, around 11 to 12-ish minutes, all right? I'd like to see him back up around 14 plus minutes like he had in the first 3 games to start this season. So hopefully those minutes perk back up for him here in the first half. But in terms of what he did against the Oklahoma City Thunder last season, he actually did a really good job. Now, he got 19 and 15, almost 16 minutes in those 2 head-to-heads from last season against OKC, but he dropped 17 and 19 first half PRA. So historically speaking, he's done a pretty good job against this Oklahoma City Thunder team. Now, they do rank 8th in terms of points allowed, which means they're kind of a stingier defense when it comes to limiting point guards to getting buckets against them. But where they do give up a lot is 29th ranked in terms of rebounds allowed and 19th ranked in assists allowed. So for a guy like Scoot, let's say he gets about 4 to 6 points and then, collects a few rebounds and collects a few assists. I mean, he should be able to have a real shot at going over 11.5 points, rebounds, and assists like he's done in 4 out of 5 games this season. So that would be a first half only option for you. Another one that I really like, going back to that Orlando and Cleveland game, is Jarrett Allen at just 8 points. Jarrett Allen has cleared 8 points in every single game in which he has appeared this season. Taking a look at the 2024 game logs, first half only on Outlier, you can see he is averaging a whopping 13 first half points per game. So 8 points just doesn't seem like nearly enough for Jarrett Allen. I could see this one getting up to 8.5, maybe even 9 by the time this game tips off here. He's dropped 11 against Toronto, 12 against Detroit, 15 against Washington. 9 was his worst first half point performance, but he still cleared the 8 against a tough New York Knicks squad. And then 18 first half points against Anthony Davis and the Los Angeles Lakers the last time he took the floor here. So this is looking really good for Jarrett Allen. Looks even better when you look at the head-to-heads against Orlando. Obviously, these 2 teams very familiar with each other. They met in the first round of the playoffs last season. Jarrett Allen absolutely cooked Orlando 9, 10, 11, 8, 10, and 16 versus the Magic in his last 6 head-to-heads versus Wendell Carter Jr. and the Orlando Magic. So if they put Jonathan Isaac on Evan Mobley, I don't like Evan Mobley overs tonight. Jonathan Isaac is one of the best defensive players and interior defensive players in all of basketball. For those of you who have been sleeping on Jonathan Isaac, I know he's been hurt a lot, but when he's healthy, one of the best defenders, hands down. So if they put Isaac on Mobley, then I could see Allen feasting against Wendell Carter Jr. And to that point, you could see that the Orlando Magic points, when it comes to points allowed to opposing centers, 21st ranked, meaning they are giving up a top 10 number when it comes to points allowed to the center position. So in terms of matchup, doesn't really get a whole lot better. A guy like this who's been crushing every single game. Hopefully he continues that trend tonight, but I like him for at least 8 points, hopefully 9 or more though. Last pick of today's video is going to be DeMar DeRozan, first half points, rebounds, and assists. So I hit you with 3 full game props. Now we're looking at 3 first half only props. And DeMar DeRozan versus Atlanta looks like a really good option for the following reasons. Well, when we take a look at the 2024 game logs, there's 4. He has done a good job of going over 15 first half PRA, recording 18 against a tough defensive Minnesota squad, 23 against Portland, not a very tough matchup there, and then 16 against Utah. The only game that he struggled was kind of a weird one against LA. He only played 17 first half minutes as opposed to 21, 19, 19. He usually gets right around 20 first half minutes. But for some reason, he only played 17 against the Lakers, kind of got out to a slow start. But nonetheless, the games where he's played closer to 20 minutes, 18, 23, and 16. Now, I also want to point out that head-to-head last season, he dominated against the Atlanta Hawks. Their wing defense has not been very good over the last couple of seasons, and you can see what he did here. 19, 18, and 26 first half points, rebounds, and assists. But again, that was when he was with the Chicago Bulls, so take that with a grain of salt. I just wanted to point out that the Hawks have given up quite a few first half points, rebounds, and assists to DeMar DeRozan, historically speaking. Now, this season, when you take a look at their rankings, they rank 29th in points allowed to the small forward position, which is what I would consider DeMar DeRozan to be. You got Fox and Herter in the backcourt, and you got DeMar DeRozan at the 3 spot, Keegan Murray at the 4, and then, of course, Domantas Sabonis in the center spot. So for me, DeMar DeRozan is the small forward. So 29th in points allowed. There's only one team giving up more points than the Hawks to the small forward spot. 19th in rebounds allowed, still a pretty good number there. And then 23rd in assists allowed to the small forward position. And so across the board here, very advantageous matchup for DeMar DeRozan. And so that's why I like him over for 15 first half points, rebounds, and assists. So if you want to make this your protected play, you're more than welcome to. If you want to take only 1 of these props, 2 of these props, all 6 of them, it's entirely up to you. Let's try to get back on track. Hopefully things break our way and Lady Luck shines favorably upon us today. Happy Flex Friday. Good luck in the month of September. We'll catch you in another video real soon.